Okay, boys and girls, we're here for 4 reasons today. Number 1, test the radio fail-safe on this platform. Number 2, try to fly out the battery to battery fail-safe. Either that or hit the ground. 3, I'm testing a new microphone system on the GoPro that won't sound like I'm in a hurricane, I hope. And 4, go home with no broken parts. Let's see what we can do with that. How close we can come to making that a reality here. Okay.
Loiter.
Oops. Darn it. See, I know how to get rid of that screen now. We will try that again. Okay. And I'm going to show you what I mean. This is in loiter right now. And it's sort of it loitered a little better than it did the other day. Let's push it out there a ways. And now we're going to do what I did one time at a AMA field and just got blessed upside one side and down the other. I'm going to take the radio and turn it off.
Receiver still connected.
I'm of course going to turn it right back on. It's off. And return to launch invoked. It's going up. I'm going to turn the radio back on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
100.
Throttle warning. Stabilize. Disarmed.
152. And coming home. And we're no longer in loiter. Now we're back in loiter. So now I'm just going to fly it, see if I can pull the battery down to 19, 20 volts or so, and fail-safe it. It does a good job of staying at altitude. Well, it's coming down a little now. Let's go see what the equipment's doing over here. The Walksnail does a whole lot better job here than it did at the house with the trees. Surprise, surprise, huh? I don't think anybody's still out there working. Oh no, there is a truck there. So whatever they're doing, they could be fishing. We're just going to leave their butt alone. So the radio failsafe worked perfectly. Wow, telemetry's staying connected too, and I'm quite a ways away. I have turned the telemetry up on the receiver to full power. Did that quite a bit ago, but let's go back up a little. Let's go to gain a little more altitude here. Shoot for 200. Oops, accidentally nudged the throttle down a little. So here's the corner of our home field. Let's go back down, turn this way. Uh-oh, I'm behind the antennas here. I'm going to try to hold up right there. And I'm going to rotate the Walksnail around towards that. Jiminy cricket. Yeah. Oops, that's a little low, guys. All right, look at this grass. This is just great. We're heading back towards the car. I'm going to go down here and check the height of one of these towers. Whoops! I'm going to check the ground if I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. That's me on the right there. I'm going to go over this irrigation ditch and hover up. And there's one of the towers right there, right straight in front of me. I'm below the top of it. Don't want to go too close to it. By using the mountain in the background as a reference, I'd say right there, 77 or 80 feet or so is how tall these are. And again, I just want to stay away from them. They go right straight down through here and they cross the river. Oops, there were some crows out here earlier. And I'm down below the trees here, so we'll hold up again here and stay away from the trees. 22 volts. Oops. Let's see what amps I pulled at full forward loader. 6-ish it looks like. Yeah. Battery failsafe at 21.6. We're headed for 150. I must have this set for LiPo failsafe instead of lithium ion. But that's okay with me. I just wanted to Evoque a failsafe. So we're in return to launch. We're coming home. So the four things were test a battery failsafe, which we just did, test a radio failsafe, which we did, run the check the microphone on the GoPro, new setup, and go home with no broken parts. This is a shorter flight than I had hoped it would be, but it looks like I didn't set up my battery failsafe so well. And it's hard to look straight up. Should slow down. There we go. There's our nice slower speed. There we go. All the perimeters were accomplished. Hopefully, the microphone worked too. All right, boys and girls, let's pack up and go home. A little shorter flight than I wanted, but I like it when I go home with no broken parts.
It was more windy today than it's been my past several flights, and boy, did the new GoPro microphone system work well, don't you think? Now let's look at a little actual flight recorded video. It's in stabilized mode. I put it in loiter. I armed it, but before I raised the throttle, it disarmed itself. I just took that right back out of it, rearmed it, and off we go. I didn't go off fast. I've got to pop it up faster than that, but I'm being gentle with the throttle right now. So, as you saw on the GoPro, I was trying to show how it drifted around in loiter mode, like it did here at the house, etc., etc. But it didn't do it at the field. It was a pretty good loiter. So, our first test perimeter was radio failsafe. So let's push it out. You can't do it right at home or it'll just land. I forget how many feet, but if it's too close to home point, it's just going to land. You got to get it out away from home before it'll go to altitude and actually do the kind of failsafe I want it to do. So I pushed it out there a couple of 100 feet. And then shut off the radio as you saw me do. So that's far enough. So this right now I am turning off the radio. "11 satellites, by the way. And there it is. It radio fail-safed. Heading for 150 feet. So there's another check off. I won't ever be turning off the radio again. There we are, going towards home now. You'll see right there, I put it in stabilized mode because I didn't want it to really come to home. I had the throttle low. It's coming home quick. I noticed it and then throwed it back in loiter to tame it down for these flights here. And then I started working on running down the battery to failsafe, which I thought was set at 20 volts. It wasn't. Although it's got a lithium ion battery on it right now, it is set up for the LiPo 22.5, I think it is. I pretty much know it's 22.5. So I didn't know if they were working still out there in the corner of the field, so I wanted to go out there and check it out. This is full sticks forward in loiter mode. The speed's basically controlled by the TECS, Total Energy Control System, in the perimeters. You can change that around if you like. It's flying at, 28? I was downwind. This is going downwind. It'll do about 22 otherwise. Right there I noticed there was a passenger truck there. Didn't see any people or movement, but I decided to hold up and not go near it. They may be down in the river, like I said, fishing. You notice they're now harvesting the field we're over, and the one right in front of us on the left that last week when I flew here, they hadn't harvested. So again, full sticks. This is as fast as it will go in loiter mode. I'll fix these yaw turns later, but right now I'm just changing its direction with the yaw, so it's drifting a little bit as the energy is redirected. Notice the bit rate on the Walksnail's dropping 13.762. I don't get the red bars like Bonafide Pirate does. And the reason that's dropping is I'm actually flying off the side of the antennas right now. It's still giving me pretty good video. Up to 14 sats, 15. So I'm just headed for this other, as you saw in the GoPro, I was just heading for this corner of the field. Again, orientation. Let me see what my home field looks like before I go any further than it. So I decided to drop it down, and look at that bit rate. I'm really behind the antennas right now. I decided to drop it down near the ground and try to move along the ground and see what that looked like. 1.2 megabits per second. On the monitor screen, the big black bar came up, so I noticed right there, you notice it's back up to 25 megabits per second. That's where I reached up and rotated that antenna around to face where the platform was. I will get that My Fly Dream mini crossbow antenna tracker working soon. I'm working on platforms right now. I am not spending time on that. So I just wanted to see what it was going to look like, me flying down the turf. God, I watched Chris Quad FPV, I think it was, yesterday, and that man was walking through water and snakes and alligators to recover a quad. I feel very fortunate to be able to fly over this field, and although there's ditches and stuff and a river, should I get out that far on the edge, generally if I go down in the main part of this field, it's going to be like walking down a golf fairway to recover it. Sorry about that. I do feel a little guilty about this field. Not that much, though. It's great for landing foam airplanes on, let me tell you. So, like you heard in the GoPro, I want to see what the height is of these high voltage lines. There's two 3-phase circuits on these towers, one on each side, 3 wires. That's how they do it. And it just cuts through the corner, this corner of my home field. Goes into the field on the other side of the river, makes a little less than a 90-degree turn and heads down through that field on the other side of the river. So I guesstimated the towers to be about 60 feet tall. I still don't want to fly anywhere near them. You're going to notice the bit rate start dropping again because now I'm flying behind the antennas again. It's pointed up where I just came from in that corner. I mean, I'm really flying right directly behind them right now. And they still work pretty good. I'm not that far away. I thought I had set it up for 20 volt failsafe on the battery, but evidently I didn't. And we can see now the 22.5 I have set. It looks like it has to go almost a full volt below what you set before it invokes. We're at 22. We're 0.5 volts below what I've got. 22, 21, 9. 21.8. So I think it kind of did it at 21.8, which is 0.7 volts below what it's set. But it finally did it. And so now it's headed for 150 feet again. And going home to land and be taken home. By the way, when I left here today, I started a timer when my wheels started turning after I packed everything up. It takes me 42 minutes and 20 seconds to drive to this field from my house. But in my opinion, I think it's worth it. There's a closer one that I've got permission to fly, but I like this one. The other one's sod too. It's just smaller. Up to 20 satellites. .22 miles an hour on the return to launch. And we'll reorient our takeoff alignment and start down about 5 feet per second. Or is that in meters? No, it's in feet per second. 4-ish. When it gets down into its secondary landing sequence, it'll slow that down to about 1.5 or so. Again, controllable. Just change it in the parameters. See, we're down at 1.2 now as far as descent rate. All right, so this is coming to a close. Let me stop right now and show you a few other little things. You can open multiple instances of the Walksnail OSD tool. This was the small file, the third one of 4 that I had. It's done. You can see these 2 are still running. The second file and the first file. First file's 40% complete. Second one's 31. Well, this pretty much utilizes my computer. It's a pretty good computer, but it does have it slammed right now. CPU is pinned out at 100%. Memory's not too bad. I'm only using 8.8 gigabytes. I've got 31 gigabytes in this computer. So I'm only using 28% of the memory. Disk, not much. Ethernet, not much. GPU, at times it's getting a workout. Just thought I'd throw that in there for kicks and grins. You can render multiple files with the Walksnail OSD tool at the same time, depending on the speed and power of your computer. They're at 45 and 36% now. And I'm not going to delve into this deeply, but let's look at the data flash log from this flight. And where we at? Oh, let's just do GPS. We'll just number of sats. So you can see the number of sats keeps coming up through the flight. We'll talk about these new GPSs later. There's basically no runs, no hits, no errors on this flight. We come in here and look at some of this. This is just where it was armed and it disarmed itself, and I rearmed it, went into loiter mode, etc., etc., etc. No big deal there. It calls the radio failsafe an error. And also it was fail-safed on radio 1, radio 0, radio 1, and radio 2. No, there's no such radios on this. And down at the bottom you can see that can't get them pulled out. I'm going to have to look at different ways to look at this stuff. There's a way to pull these messages out. I've done it before. You can see it did do a radio failsafe down here too in the messages, and a return to launch. Pull this back together here. And if you look down here, right here, when it was going back to the home point, I touched stabilize mode button here and then realized I had the throttle too low, and it was going much faster in stabilize mode, and I hit loiter again right here. And if we run out here, you can see here's a failsafe, battery failsafe, 21.84 volts. It looks like it's set for 22.5. I don't have it connected, so I can't prove that. But basically, no runs, no hits, no errors, no GPS glitches, nothing. Just what was supposed to be in it. And what we fly the battery down to? We flew the battery down. I didn't look at that when we were in the Walksnail. Let's see. Show point values. 21.3 at its lowest. Takes some voltage to get from where you're at to, here's where the failsafe happened at 21 point whatever, 21.86. So that sort of says these messages and stuff, the leading edge of it is where it happens. But it went further down from 21.8ish down to 21.3 before it landed. That wouldn't hurt this battery. Don't think it would hurt my LiPo either. So real quick, here's the proof of the failsafe voltage. 22.5. I'll have to change that for the LiPo and refly that mission. Boy, this bothers me. Right now it doesn't think there's a GPS in that platform. It's sitting on the bench in the basement. I'm congealing more and more thoughts about these M10 GPSs, CAN bus or otherwise. They're starting to make sense to me. So I'm going to give you the Runcam footage from the top of the platform, and that'll be it. I'm not going to re-narrate the Runcam footage, and it's not in 4K. It's in 1080. You can watch it if you want, but I'll go ahead and just thank you now. Thank you.